there's some here that just go for champagne and smoked salmon, I can tell you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Anthony Basford. I'm the CEO here at East Gippsland Shire Council, and I will chair the meeting until a mayor is elected. I would like to officially say now that the meeting is open and welcome you all to tonight's proceedings to elect the next mayor and deputy mayor, if council resolves to have a deputy mayor, as per the Act. Council live streams, records and publishes its meetings via webcasting. These recordings are available for viewing by the public and may be publicly shared by council. No other person has the right to record council meetings unless approval has been granted by the chair. In line with the Local Government Act 2020, meetings will be open to the public via live streaming. Members of the public are invited to view the live streamed council meeting by following the link on council's website or Facebook. If council encounters any technical difficulties, and we may have had some of those earlier, which hopefully we have resolved, the live streaming during the meeting will be adjourned until the issue is resolved. If technical issues can't be resolved, the meeting may be postponed until a later time and date. East Gippsland Shire Council recognises the Gunai Kurnai, Monero and Bidawal people as the traditional owners of the land and waters that encompass East Gippsland Shire and their enduring relationship with country. The traditional owners have cared and nurtured East Gippsland for tens of thousands of years. Council value the living culture and practices of Aboriginal people and their right to self-determination. Council pays respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people living in East Gippsland, their elders, past and present. We have some apologies, but before I go into apologies, I would just like to acknowledge all the councillors around the table and welcome to this mayoral and deputy mayor election, and friends and family who are here as well. So this is the first time that we've kind of had the whole civic event for a little while in terms of the election of the mayor, so it's actually good to be back in this space. So we do have apologies tonight from Councillor Sonia Buckley and Councillor John White. Councillors, I would also like to acknowledge Mr Stephen Patterson, Chair of our Audit and Risk Committee, who is in attendance tonight. Welcome, Stephen. Mr Patterson will be called on in the event that the vote is equally divided and will conduct a drawing of the lot to determine an eliminated candidate, if required. The next meeting, council meeting, is scheduled to be held on Tuesday the 8th of November 2022 at the Corporate Centre, 273 Main Street, Bairnsdale, commencing at 6 p.m. Now, at this juncture, we have a small gift for the outgoing mayor. And I would like to invite Councillor Reeves and Alice Hess to come forward, please. You can give them a clap.
Of East Gippsland, there's no doubt about it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, that's the fellow councillors later on, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to take the wine and I'll take the photo. Well, thank you very much. I'll come on this side, head over.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Brigitte, do I have to declare this?
Yes. Yes. I've got a form for you.
As I said to you, but for the purposes of the recording and those at home, Councillor Reeves, on behalf of councillors and staff, I'd like to say thank you and present you, as I did with those small tokens of appreciation, for the diligence and dedication as Mayor of East Gippsland Shire over the last 12 months. Thank you, Councillor Reeves. And as we know, it is a big job, and I think you calculated how many events that you'd been to, or that the team have, and it was somewhere in the vicinity of 250 from memory. So it's a big year. Before the election of the Mayor, Section 26(3) of the Local Government Act 2020 requires that the Council must determine by resolution whether the Mayor is to be elected for a term of 1 or 2 years. In addition, the election of the next Mayor is to be held on a day that is as close to the end of the term as reasonably practicable. Councillors, do I have a motion for the mayoral term? Councillor Stowe.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. I'd like to move that they be appointed for the next 12 months.
For 1 year. Thank you, Councillor Stowe. Do I have a seconder?
I'd like to second that motion, Mr CEO.
Thank you, Councillor Uri. Councillors, the motion will be displayed. There we go. On the screen. Councillor Stowe, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, but thank you very much.
Councillor Uri?
No, thank you, Mr CEO.
Okay. Is the motion opposed? Would anyone like to speak for or against the motion? On that basis, I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Vanessa. We now move to the election of the Mayor. Now that the mayoral term has been decided, we'll now proceed to the election of the Mayor. Under Section 25(2) of the Local Government Act, any councillor is eligible for election or re-election to the office of Mayor. The role of the Mayor, as outlined in Section 18 of the Local Government Act, is to chair council meetings, be the principal spokesperson for the council, lead engagement with the municipal community on the development of the council plan, report to the municipal community at least once every year on the implementation of the council plan, promote behaviour among councillors that meets the standards of conduct as set out in the Councillor Code of Conduct, assist councillors to understand their role, take a leadership role in ensuring the regular review of the performance of the CEO, provide advice to the CEO when the Chief Executive Officer is setting the agenda for council meetings, and perform civic and ceremonial duties on behalf of the council. Further, in Section 19 of the Act, the Mayor has the following specific powers: to appoint a councillor to be the chair of a delegated committee, to direct a councillor, subject to any proceedings or limitations specified in the governance rules, to leave a council meeting if the behaviour of the councillor is preventing the council from conducting its business, and to require the Chief Executive Officer to report to the council on implementation of council decisions. Section 25(4) of the Act stipulates that the Mayor must be elected by an absolute majority of all councillors. The Act defines the absolute majority as the number of councillors which is greater than half of the total number of councillors of a council. Therefore, to be declared the Mayor, a nominee must receive 5 votes or more. In the event that an absolute majority is not received, Council may, under Section 25(5) of the Act, resolve to conduct a new election at a later time and date determined by Council. The election of Mayor will be conducted in accordance with Rule 6 of the Governance Rules. If there are more than 2 candidates and no candidate receives an absolute majority, the candidate with the fewest votes will be eliminated. The remaining candidates will be put to the vote again. This process will continue until there are 2 candidates. The candidate with an absolute majority will be declared successful. All voting will be by a show of hands. There is no secret ballot allowed. I will be calling for nominations shortly, but as a guide, councillors may nominate themselves and nominations do not require a seconder. Councillors, I now call for nominations for the role of Mayor. Do I have any? Councillor Allen.
Thank you, CEO. I'd like to nominate Mark Reeves. I, Councillor Allen, would like to nominate Councillor Reeves for the position of Mayor. Is that the correct formula?
That is correct.
Right.
Thank you. Councillor Reeves, do you accept that nomination?
I'm absolutely delighted and honoured to accept that nomination, Councillor Allen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both. Do I have any other nominations for the position of Mayor? In that case, as there is only one candidate, I declare Councillor Reeves is the duly elected Mayor of East Gippsland Shire Council. Councillor Reeves, I'd like to congratulate you on the election as Mayor. Again, it's an excellent result, and on behalf of staff, wish you every success in your term of office. And I'd now like to invite you to say a few words, if you wish.
CEO and councillors and officers, how's that? Is that all right? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
It's often said, never get between a mayor and a microphone. So I do want to take a moment, councillors, if that's all right. So Womaningi councillors, and thank you so much for that nomination, Councillor Allen, and councillors, thank you so much for your vote of confidence. Now, I'm going to quote a great 19th century Danish existential philosopher. Stay with me, this will be worth it. Søren Kierkegaard said, life can only be understood backwards, but must be lived forwards. Life can only be understood backwards, but has to be lived forwards. Now, that's really quite an amazing and prescient quote. It's a wonderful reminder of how the things we should hold dear, how much we need to be able to let go, and the places we need to go in the future. Understanding what we've been through over the last 12 or 24 months is formative to who we are now and how we are as a community. The experiences we've all endured help us understand the place we're at now. It helps us form the direction we need to go in the next 12 months. The role of council and councillor is understanding and reflecting on the past 12 or 24 months, and that's fundamental to the decisions we make and the places we're about to go in the next 12 months. And I'm a great believer in reflective learning. Reflecting on past events, behaviours, situations and actions enables us to process them and create new knowledge and better responses for next time. We don't want to do the same things and expect different outcomes. Hence the second part of Kierkegaard's quote, life must be lived forwards. We cannot go back to the past. Last year in a similar speech, I mentioned that the future is sort of over there. We're going that way. And that's where we need to keep going, councillors. Always forwards. The past is back there and we're not going back. We need to keep going forwards. The future and how we prepare for it is informed by the past, but it's not the past and it's never going to be repeated. And my role, councillors and officers and friends and as Mayor, will be to honour the past and celebrate it, such as this amazing document, CEO, you and your staff have provided for me, which was just, I'm very touched by that. But we're not going to keep repeating those things Groundhog Day. I'm someone who likes to move forward and I'm excited by the future. I enjoy adaptive challenges, the challenges of the new and the unknown, and finding ways to solve new challenges with new solutions. I'm conscious of the dominant paradigm portrayed by the media, the video games, the news cycles, the TV and social media, that of a dystopian future. If it bleeds, it leads. And I think we have an opportunity and a strong obligation as community leaders to reframe that future and to change that view. The future for our community, and in particular our young people, to be lived in going forward, and our legacy as decision makers is to provide an optimistic and happily anticipated place to be. And I want to continue to be able to harness the power, the collective wisdom and decision-making capacity of this group, this powerful group of councillors, to focus on that positive future that I believe we can all share in. I value the collaborative approach this group of councillors brings, and I enjoy the diversity of opinion, yet the unity of outcomes that embodies this council. I honestly believe that. And I want to focus for a moment on this cooperative versus collaborative thing. It's different. I think we collaborate, and this is why. Cooperation is about working with others to achieve your own goals. That's not us. Collaboration, on the other hand, is about working with each other to achieve shared goals. And that's what we do. We share our goals and we work together on that focus. And that collaborative approach in this group, that it has at its heart, is really fantastic. When we collaborate, I think this council group can, has been and will continue to be bold. The work undertaken to take firm and evidence-based decisions around key policy areas is a credit to this group. I'm aware that officers value the strength and collaborative capacity of this council. As the ancient Japanese saying goes, a fish rots from the head down. The leadership and strength of this group is contagious and informs a capable and resilient staff, led by Anthony, and then the whole Shire organisation that are ready to meet the needs of our community. And we know how much they are ready to meet the needs of our community with the recent National Emergency Medal Awards. Amazing and well-deserved, and we recognise the work of those staff to keep business as usual when the rest of the world was anything but usual. Councillors, here we are mid-term, and it's a good time to double down and consolidate the great foundational work we've undertaken over the last 24 months. I was going to say 24 hours. 24 months. I think we're hitting our collaborative straps, and the collective wisdom and mutual trust this group has means that the next 12 months should, I think, and I'm lucky enough to be Mayor, thank you, will be exciting and enable us to tackle those future adaptive challenges and yet bring on new strengths we have yet to create. So, councillors, our impact and effectiveness can only be understood backwards, as Kierkegaard said, but I think the key documents and achievements of the past 12 months are testimony to that achievement and effectiveness. And I hope as Mayor, councillors, that I can be that person, that Mayor, who continues to help this group be the best version of ourselves as a council. And we can be and boldly say too that I hope I can help each of us individually be the best versions of ourselves. In doing so, I hope that we can live life forwards and with a sense of excitement and optimism. And I want to also point out that in everything I do, I'm supported by my beautiful wife, Alice. So thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Who would have thought I'd bring a 19th century existentialist into the chamber? And aren't we all better for it?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Reeves. Now, before I ask you to come up and assume
no, I'm going to stay here and assume the chair, aren't I? No, I'm going to move? Right, okay.
In a moment.
Right.
Before you do,
Okay.
are there any congratulatory or other statements that people would like to make before I ask the Mayor to come up and assume the chair?
Good on you, Trevor.
Councillor Greason.
Oh, look, I just want to say I'm really, really pleased that you're going to be Mayor again. We've had a very good year. You've been an outstanding Mayor and in fulfilling all of that list of responsibilities the CEO read out earlier. So I'm very happy. Good on you and thanks.
Thank you,
Councillor Uri.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Ditto, Mark. I'm really happy that you've been elected the Mayor again. Obviously, working with you for the last 2 years, we feel like we've got a lot of work behind us now. Some of those strategies are in place. So I like your theme of looking back and looking forward, because I think a lot of our work from here on will be to see those strategies completed and then put them into place. And I think that judging on the last 12 months with you as the Mayor, I think we do make a great team and we will be in a really good position to do that. I've really enjoyed the relationships around the table, as you mentioned. I've also enjoyed seeing your relationship with community and your willingness to attend events, to show up and to be a leader in our communities as well. I think from all that our communities have been through in the last number of years, I think they've really appreciated your care and your showing up and your guidance. So I think we're on a good thing, and I'm really
Very
looking
kind.
forward to the next 12 months.
Very kind.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Councillors, if there is no one further to speak, I will formally hand over the chair responsibilities for Councillor Mayor Reeves to preside over the remainder of tonight's meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Don't use the gavel.
Oh, I so much want to use the gavel. Good evening, everyone. Lovely to see you from this angle. It's such a privileged place to be. Thank you so much, councillors. Councillors, we come to the election of the Deputy Mayor. Let me read my notes without spilling the glass of water. Council traditionally elects a Deputy Mayor, as this provides clarity to all councillors regarding who steps in for the Mayor should the Mayor be unavailable. The Act in Section 21 provides that the Deputy Mayor must perform the role of the Mayor and may exercise any powers of the Mayor if A, the Mayor is unavailable for any reason to attend a council meeting or part of a council meeting, or the Mayor is incapable of performing the duties of the office of the Mayor for any reason, including illness, or C, the office of the Mayor is vacant. Councillors, there is a recommendation that the Council resolves to establish the office of the Deputy Mayor, or the Council does not establish the office of the Deputy Mayor. So there's a recommendation. Do I have a motion, councillors? Councillor Greason.
I haven't got the words in front of me, but I, Councillor Greason, recommend that we continue to have a Deputy Mayor. Sorry? For 1 year. Thank you.
Thank you. So that is the motion on the table. I don't think we need a seconder for this, do we? We do need a seconder? In this case, we do. We need a seconder. Councillor Van Diggle. Councillor Greason, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Councillor Van Diggle. Councillors, is the motion opposed? We'll just pop the motion up on the screen. Councillor Greason, are you happy that what is written up there is what you are moving?
That is what I'm moving.
Great. Councillor Van Diggle, you're happy to second that? Great. Does it need to be stated that it's for 12 months, or is it probably the duration of the mayoral term? Yep. Councillors, if the motion is not opposed, does anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? Thanks, Councillor. I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you, CEO. That's carried unanimously. Councillors, I'll now call for nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. Councillor Stowe.
I, Councillor Stowe, would like to nominate Councillor Allen for the position of Deputy Mayor for the next 12 months.
Councillor Allen, do you accept that nomination?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Stowe, for the nomination, and I accept.
Councillors, are there any other nominations for Deputy Mayor? Councillor Uri.
Thank you, Mayor. I, Councillor Uri, nominate Councillor Crook for the position of Deputy Mayor of East Gippsland Shire Council.
Councillor Crook, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, Mayor, I accept that nomination.
Councillors, are there any other or further nominations? CEO or Manager Governance, do we allow the candidates a moment to speak to their candidacy? Thank you. Councillor Allen, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Councillor Stowe, for this nomination. I've been privileged to serve as Deputy to Mark for the last 12 months. And before I speak to the position of Deputy, I would firstly like to acknowledge the exceptional work of Mark as Mayor over the past year. The energy and the enthusiasm that he brings to the position is infectious. And I congratulate him on being re-elected and sincerely thank him for the support and guidance that he has given me. As I said last year, the position of the Deputy is a very important one, and the role of the Deputy is to support the Mayor and share the load where required. And I'm in the fortunate position of having the time to commit to that position, and if re-elected, will strive to give the time and the commitment the position requires for the good of the Shire and its residents. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Allen, thanks for those words. I'll now call on Councillor Crook to make an address.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I'll just start by reiterating Councillor Allen's sentiments around your mayoralship.
That's very kind, thank you.
You've done an exceptional job, and I'm glad to see you returned. I'm pleased to accept the nomination tonight and really welcome the prospect of potentially being Council's new Deputy Mayor. I realise the role requires a significant commitment of time and effort, and I can say unreservedly that I'm prepared to make that commitment, to fulfil and honour the duties of the Deputy Mayor and to ensure that the time required and the attention for the role are provided. And that I'm also willing to make the appropriate changes to my work and other lifetime commitments to ensure that this can happen. If elected, I will do my best to support the Mayor, to listen to and respect the wishes and desires of my fellow councillors and the community, including the staff, to the best of my ability. I'm sure we all appreciate the work of council is both varied and vast. It's sometimes, I'll be honest, really challenging. It's sometimes really demanding, and at times it can even be quite confronting. But it's also, I believe, incredibly important, fulfilling and rewarding. Sometimes it's even enjoyable.
Steady on.
But it's not easy, and to do well requires commitment, and that is a commitment that I am prepared to make. If elected, councillors in the community can be assured that I will listen and that I will always act and work with honesty, fairness and integrity to ensure the obligations and opportunities of the role are understood and acted upon to the best of my ability for a better East Gippsland.
Councillor Crook, thank you. Thank you both for your words then. So, councillors, as we have two candidates in tonight's election, I'll conduct a vote to determine the Deputy Mayor. I'll state each councillor's name in order of the nomination and ask the councillors to indicate their vote by a show of hands. So, councillors, those in favour of Councillor Allen, please raise your hand. You have 3. Councillors, those in favour of Councillor Crook, please raise your hand. Councillors, as an absolute majority of votes has not been obtained, which is required to be 5, in accordance with Governance Rule 6.54C, a second vote will now be conducted. Councillors, those in favour of Councillor Allen, please raise your hand. Those in favour of Councillor Crook, please raise your hand. Stand by. Once again, councillors, as an absolute majority of votes has not been obtained after a second vote, in accordance with Governance Rule 654D, councillors must resolve to conduct a new election at 6 p.m. tomorrow night.
Won't be here.
Councillors, can I please have a mover for the motion? And here's the motion now.
Before you do, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, thank you, CEO.
I believe, as part of our governance rules, that there is some flexibility on whether that is tomorrow night or a future night.
Right.
So I'll just confirm that with the governance manager.
Do we need another motion, do we?
So effectively, what you would need to do, if you did not want to hold it tomorrow night,
Yep.
you would need a motion to effectively say that you are You are working outside of the governance rules, so you're making a resolution to not follow the governance rules.
Right. We can do that.
Otherwise, the default position is at tomorrow night. So I just wanted to make that clear so that there wasn't any issues.
Okay.
So I'll pass back to you.
So, councillors, is there a motion to resolve that we meet at an alternative time at some stage in the future? Councillor Stowe?
Yes, I'll resolve that we agree to meet on Thursday night at 6 p.m.
Councillors are all checking their diaries, I think, at the moment. Yeah, I'll be in Bonang.
We'll go another day.
So we have the flexibility to determine the date at a...
I'd be prepared to change that to Friday night at 6 p.m. if that's...
Councillor Stowe, there's a motion on the screen that we could actually conduct it on a date to be decided, if
Now
you
you're
prefer
talking.
that.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to check that and see that that's the motion you're happy to move?
Yes, very happy to
Right.
move that. Thank
We need
you.
a seconder for that motion. Councillor Greason, thank you. Would you like to speak to it? No, thank you. Would anybody like to speak against it? Yes. Councillor Crook.
I feel that the matter needs to be resolved and that postponing the meeting is not necessarily going to change the result. It's just going to further inconvenience those who have to be here at an alternate date.
Mm-hmm. Would anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Stowe, you have a...
Jane.
Councillor Greason.
I think that because we are making a decision to vote for a deputy mayor, and we have two absolutely excellent councillors that have been nominated, one of those councillors is not available tomorrow evening, and that's the basis for the request that we allow the next election to be conducted on another date. Thank you.
Yep, understood. Councillor Stowe, anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Allen, you have your microphone on. Oops. Be careful. Councillor Stowe, you have a right of reply.
Well, Councillor Grecian summed it up perfectly. We need to have both candidates here, and regrettably one candidate has an appointment in Melbourne and can't be here, so I don't think it's too big an impos to postpone it for a short period of time.
Can I seek a point here, manager governance, in regard to the functionality of the organisation if we don't have a deputy mayor and the mayor is unable to perform the duties?
There's an opportunity for council to adjourn. Apologies. Thank you, Mayor. There's an opportunity for council to adjourn to discuss this matter if they wish.
Councillors, there's an opportunity, so that could be another motion that we could actually adjourn. Councillors could go into a small dark room and have a conversation.
I'd like to have the motion put.
Put this motion? Yep. So there's a procedural motion there, councillors. So we can actually put that motion, and we can also have that other procedural motion about adjourning put as well. Okay, let's vote on this motion, councillors.
Through you, Mayor.
Yes.
Just so we're clear, we have a councillor who has asked for the motion to be put, so it's a procedural motion.
Yes.
So that needs to be voted on in the first instance.
That's correct.
And then the motion can be considered depending on the outcome of that.
So, manager governance or CEO, at a date to be decided, could be this evening as well. If it was adjourned and councillors so felt that they could come back and make a decision, that date to be decided in the future could be this evening, in 10 minutes' time, for example.
I believe that would be through you, Mayor, I believe that would actually be a different motion to what's on there. And in fact, I believe that picks up on the governance manager's motion, advice,
Yes.
that in fact it would be a motion to adjourn and come back tonight.
This is the motion that's on the table.
As opposed to the motion that's on the screen.
Yep.
I think that there's an adjournment motion, or there's that motion at a different date. And if it was on a different date, a date to be decided would not be today.
Right.
Would be my view.
Okay. So there's a procedural motion to put the motion, which we need to deal with right now first. Yep. Councillors, all in favour of this motion?
No, procedure to put this motion.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your point. Point of order, point taken. Okay, so the point is, should we put this motion now? Councillors, we're voting on whether we put this motion now. All those in favour? Those against? The motion's carried. Okay, so we are now going to the substantive motion, and that is the motion that's in front of us. Yes, sure, go ahead, Councillor Van Diegel.
I'm just wondering if we meet, say, tomorrow, that's obviously not happening. What if this happens again, that it's 4-3?
Thank you. Point of clarification there. So
move it again to the
technically it would go on and on and on until a resolution is made.
Great.
Councillors, that's the understanding that, as the local laws stand, that we would continue ad infinitum until a decision is reached. Okay. Good with that clarification, Councillor? Great. Okay, so the motion is that Council resolve to amend the governance rule to allow the new election to be conducted on the date to be decided. All those in favour? Those against? The motion's carried. Councillors, CEO, officers, that concludes.
So I would suggest that we set a date. Mr Mayor, I would suggest that the council set a date for that.
Well, seeing as I moved that motion, can I also move that we set that date for Friday at 6 p.m? All right, tell me when you're all free.
Everyone free Monday?
Excuse me, guests, while we discuss this amongst ourselves, we're still actually in a meeting here.
Anyone out there got a suggestion?
Why don't we do it on Tuesday? Why don't we do it on Tuesday Tuesday?
We can do Thursday.
Mayor.
CEO. Sorry, I've got the gavel here, so just a bit of order, councillors. I've always wanted to use this.
Is there anyone who can't do Thursday night?
Mayor, we are still in council meeting.
Yep.
Just through you, the suggestion has been made by General Manager of Business Excellence that the potential is you could defer it to, or you could set the date as the 8th of November, which is the next council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's not a separate meeting. We've got a long weekend in between. It does give council then some time to talk with each other and to think about how they wish to proceed. Appreciate that it will add an item to the agenda, which is already reasonably large, but this is an important matter. But so that is one option you could consider. It's just one of a number of dates you could consider.
Okay.
I'll make that my motion, the 8th.
So we have another motion. The motion is, happy to accept that motion, councillor?
Yes, that we conduct the revote on the 8th of November prior to our COT.
Or during the next ordinary council meeting, as part of an agenda item of that ordinary council meeting. Can we do that, Manager Governance? Yep.
So moved.
And by the magic of Vanessa's quick fingers, there we have it. Councillor Stowe, is that the motion you're happy to move?
That's perfect, thank
Great.
you.
Do we have a second to councillors? Councillor Van Diegel this time. Sorry, Jane. Councillor Stowe, would you like to speak to that?
No, but thank you.
Councillor Van Diegel. Is the motion opposed, councillors? Anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Thanks, councillors. We will defer that until the next meeting. Okay, now I can declare the meeting closed and thank everybody for your attendance. But before I do, I'm actually going to make a couple of comments about the work of the Deputy Mayor, councillors, while we're still in meeting. And that's the prerogative of the Chair. I can do that. Councillor Allen, I just wanted to acknowledge the year of dedication and outstanding work that you have undertaken as Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
You are one of the most generous and unassuming people I know. Behind that exterior and that facade is a truly decent and caring person a councillor, a husband, a grandparent, a committee member and an honoured and valued member of your community. Good people are magnetic, and Arthur seems to attract all the right people for the right reasons. And yet you're always humble, you're always gracious, despite the fact that so much is undertaken by you in the role in the community as a councillor. You've also carried some significant burdens on behalf of this councillor group, and we want to acknowledge that and thank you. I want to salute you, Councillor Allen, for a year well lived in public life, and on behalf of the community, thank you for your selfless dedication as Deputy Mayor. You are always the one who turns up.